we going on from now? We're going to Lompoc, California. And Sewell, 11/29/25. So it's only a month and a week or so later, probably a couple of months by the time he hears this. To the infamously Canadian Dave Sim and the manly Wisconsinite Matt Dow. Um, here, some honorable members. Someone once wrote that you don't like to draw anything that requires a ruler. It's one of the things I like about your pre-Gerhardt backgrounds. They seem real, but also vividly stylized. Question for Dave. Is there any truth to this vicious, unconfirmed rumor? Or would you like to viciously confirm this deep, dark truth at your cartoonist core? Thanks for your continued patience with my inane questions. That's very far from an inane question, as you will be able to tell when I get back to this. Right now, I'm going in to work on Strange Death of Alex Raymond, page 690. But I do have to say that it will start with an apology to Gerhardt, going back 40 years now? Yeah, 40 years. Almost 42 years to when he started doing the backgrounds. And I'll leave that as a cliffhanger. And for you, it'll be in the next second, I'll start answering the question thoroughly, two questions thoroughly. For me, geez, it could be tomorrow, depending on how I do on the Strange Death of Alex Raymond page. Okay, that was 11 minutes 47. And talk to you momentarily. Okay, January 6th, Dodger, hold that thought. And checking back in on the Bill Sienkiewicz Cerebus commission piece. Where are we? I've got it here somewhere. Hang on, Christoph. I hope you're still with us, Christoph. What's interesting to me, and I alluded to it before, was the helmet is definitely a riff on another very famous Frank Frazetta piece. And I couldn't think of the name of it. And finally it came to me when I was at the drawing board. It's Death Dealer. And got a photo here of the front cover of the comic book price guide of 2023, 2024. And in the acknowledgments, it's the cover was done by Dan Lawless, and it's copyright 2023 Frazetta Girls LLC. And I have to say that it's terrifically impressive that Frank Frazetta created the definitive image of Conan, which is the primary riff that Bill's doing here in the 1960s, and then also did a definitive Barbarian helmet in with the Death Dealer, which I'm pretty sure he did in the 1990s. That doesn't happen very often, that something sticks with all of us, and obviously stuck with Bill, where you're asking for Cerebus the Barbarian. So he's giving you Cerebus the Barbarian, and he goes, helmet, Barbarian helmet. And without actually referring to anything, I'm pretty sure, he went, okay, what's a good Barbarian helmet? and got the primary elements of Frazetta's Death Dealer. So very, very impressive. Um, Bill's riff on it, and Frank Frazetta for being able to design things that really are proving to be timeless influences. Okay, back to you, Dodger. Um, Someone once wrote that you don't like to draw anything that requires a ruler. Uh, uh, I think we can actually credit that to me personally. That goes back to the very, very beginnings of Cerebus, where I was looking at uh, Howard the Duck and looking at Quack and going, why is Howard the Duck exponentially more popular than Quack when they're both funny animal comics? And the most obvious answer to that one, of course, is that Howard the Duck was in color and Quack was in black and white. Even though black and white is preferable, certainly in my mind, it's not the most popular thing. But one of the other elements that while I was, you know, beating around that mentally was I think that one of the problems with Quack is that it's all funny animals. Some very, very good funny animal strips in Quack, um, but it was all funny animals, and I went. I think the actual popularity of Howard the Duck is the funny animal in the world of humans. And once I had cracked that theoretical code in my mind, then it was okay. I'm going to do um, my own funny animal in the world of humans, which sort of left two options in my mind. Either I could do a futuristic science fiction funny animal in the world of humans, something along the line of Duck Dodgers in the 25th and a half century, the Daffy Duck riff on Buck Rogers. Or I could do the funny animal Conan, and opted for the funny animal Conan because ancient, if you're doing ancient historical or sword and sorcery or whatever you want to call it, um, it's possible to do most of your drawing without a ruler because the buildings are not most of the time straight up and down. So that was definitely one of the elements that I had, and then that also became an element of okay, I'm going to try doing this. I'm going to try doing my own comic book um, without without any outside publisher or editorial help, and prove one of my other theories, which is if you can just put a book out on time, you've got better odds of success than if you just put out a book whenever you get one of them done. Um, and that brought in other elements of the drawing side of it, which was um, I'm going to uh, have to develop my own way of drawing, my own way of doing comics based on my personal aptitudes. Because if I try doing things that I'm not good at, that's going to slow me down, and that's going to kill the whole idea of doing a bi-monthly comic book or um, doing 3 bi-monthly comic books, which was the original limited plan. Uh, when you say it's one of the things I like about your pre-Gerard backgrounds, they seem real but also vividly stylized. Well, that was definitely the ambition, and that was definitely Dave Sims' thinking. Um, Sitting at the drawing board was play to your own strengths. Um, you're not really a technical artist, So just try and get the feel of it going, and then lean into that, get the page done, and then get on to the next page, which was, it's a lot of self discipline trying to do that. Uh, so what I would do in drawing comics is I would sit down and rough out the page, and then basically start drawing the characters and penciling it. And what always happened with me, and still happens with me, is while I'm working on it, uh, I go, okay, that's a Barry Windsor Smith Cerebus, or that's a Jeff Jones face, or a Bernie Wrightson face, uh, the Neil Adams face, an Al Williamson face. As soon as I see it, then I can't not see it, and that's how I continue drawing. So what was interesting, and where the apology to Gerhardt comes in, was that was fine. That I had been doing that for 6 years, 7 years by the time I was experimenting with Gerhardt, doing the backgrounds on the monthly book, and um, that 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 was still my way of thinking. It's like this is what's gotten me through the first 7 years. This is what got me through the first fifth. I've done the first fifth of the 300 issues. Now I just have to do this 4 more times. I wasn't looking around for new ways to do comics. It's like, no, this is working. Keep doing this. And if you can think of other stuff that you think is going to work, or you're pretty sure is going to work, well, do those. Uh, and But bringing Gerhardt in as a background artist, it's okay. I'm going to tell you how it is that I draw Cerebus. This is what you're going to be getting, the same as you got on the Epic Color story, his first fifth, um, where it'll be the characters. Here's the panel, and I'll either tell you what goes in behind it, or I'll do a quick little sketch in behind it, saying this is what I'm looking for. And the vividly stylized came in because I would get most of the work done, and then if I had to do perspective of some kind, then I would get out the ruler, or I would just sketch the perspective. Uh, this is a straight line, theoretically a straight line, but it's a pretty ragged stone wall or something from the Dark Ages, so doesn't really need a ruler, just the basic sketch in my head. So I was basically telling Gerhardt, don't really worry about vanishing points and perspective. Just follow along with what I'm doing, and just try and make it a nice background picture that brings out the foreground character. If I've got thin lines, use solid blacks or dark cross hatching, and if it's a complete silhouette, then do cross hatching and thin lines. And I'm pretty sure that threw Gerhardt off, because it's like, well, that's not really how you draw. That's not really how I draw. That's not really how I learned to draw, and that's not how I taught myself to draw. Right from the get-go, it's like, where's the horizon line? Okay, here's the horizon line. Where's the vanishing point on that horizon line? There's the vanishing point, and then take the ruler and do straight lines coming out of the vanishing point, and then start building the drawing on that. So working with somebody who just didn't didn't do that. It's like I'm looking to get the vividly stylized quality that you're talking about. I want to make it a really really good, strong, eye candy Dave Sim drawing. Uh, if perspective even came into it, it came into it very, very late in the game. Um, and I didn't really realize uh, until I was working on the Ninja High School Service crossover with Ben Dunn, where I was finally in the Gerhardt situation, where Ben Dunn um, would was giving me pages that were just characters, and basically I was going to redraw his Cerebuses most of the time, and then I'd be putting the backgrounds in behind. So this was the first time, like, actually having the Gerhardt experience, and I'm going, uh, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, then I have to figure out the dynamics of the background at the same time that I'm figuring out how I'm going to be redrawing Cerebus, and maybe changing his size, or changing how far in the foreground or how far in the background he is, and going, well, the only way to do that is to put in the horizon line and put in the vanishing point and start building out from there. And it's like, right, this was what I should have done. And if I could go back 40 years, I would say, okay, yeah, this is good. You're on the right track. You're doing vividly stylized, and you're emphasizing the motion and the eye candy feel of each panel and each page. But you've got a background artist. You're now working with a background artist. So early in the stage, much earlier in the stage than you've been doing, uh, when you've got the character figured out and you're going, oh, it's an Al Williamson Cerebus, or it's a Neil Adams Cerebus, or a Barry Windsor Smith Cerebus. Okay, now I know exactly what the character is supposed to look like and how much space he's taking up. Okay, now stop doing that. Don't do that side of the job. Now switch over to the background side of the job and go, all right, I'm looking at the character, and he's sitting at a table. So before I keep going on the character, finishing penciling it and inking it, uh, put in the horizon line. Where is the horizon line when you're looking at him? Just as you imagined him, imagine the background behind him. Now put in the horizon line, put in the vanishing point, take a ruler and put the horizon line in with a ruler and put some lines coming out of the vanishing point. And now Gerhardt's got something to work with when you finally get the drawings of the characters done and hand them over to him. And one of the things that I was always doing was um, the vanishing point always has to be on the page. Why does it always have to be on the page? Because if it's off the page, then that gets more complicated. It doesn't get really more complicated. You can just tape another piece of paper to the page that you're working on, and just go, okay, the horizon line goes across here, and the 2 point perspective, there's a vanishing point on the page, but there's another vanishing point that is off the page, about 2 inches this way. But that's fine. I'm just going to put it on this piece of paper that I've taped to the page. If I had done that with Gerhardt, if I had said, okay, um, I stopped drawing the character and started working on the background side of it and going, here's my horizon line, um, here's here's the vanishing point, and no, it doesn't fit on the page. It's off of the page. So What I've done is I've taped this piece of paper next to the page and put the vanishing point on it, and then turned both of them over, the page and the sheet of paper I taped to it, and marking where they go, so that now I'm going back to drawing the characters. I don't want this piece of paper taped to the drawing board because to the page, because it's distracting me. So, but now that I've got it marked, I'm going to give you the page and this extra piece of paper with the vanishing point on it, and you can tape it to the page when it's your turn to work on the page, and go, oh, okay, here's the horizon line, and it's going through the page and onto this page, taped onto the page, and here's the vanishing point on that page. Now I know exactly where everything goes. I just have to get my ruler and start putting in my own perspective lines, however many that I need in order to do the background. And that would certainly have made 20 years of Gerhardt's life a lot easier. And it is interesting, the number of things that I've come up with since the book was done, going, yeah, that would have made things a lot easier and gone a lot more smoothly. One example is if I had just said to Gerhardt, if there's anything I don't like on your background, I'll redo it. So don't bust your own chops on that one, going like, what if he doesn't like it? What if this is a bad background? If it's a bad background, I'll redo it, or I'll redo the part of it that I think needs redoing. And he would have then seen that almost never happens, because it's like, these are brilliant backgrounds. You don't think they're brilliant backgrounds, but they're brilliant backgrounds. And if if you see how infrequently I do that, then you go, okay, well, I'm on the right track. Now I've got this extra level of confidence that I didn't have before. The other thing that I just thought of in the last couple of months was, if I had just inked part of the background, if I had just said, okay, here's what the background's going to look like. I'm not going to draw the whole background, but it's bricks or something like that. And it's like, okay, this is how I'm picturing the bricks. I'll do one brick there. That's how the brick's going to look. If you make all of the bricks look like that one, Fat City, we're off to the races. So there you go. If you're asking me, is there any truth to this vicious unconfirmed rumor? It's like, no, it's not an unconfirmed rumor. I definitely had a prejudice against rulers. I had a prejudice against horizon lines, and a prejudice against vanishing points right from the get-go, for the reasons that I've outlined. But I am now in my dotage going, nope, big fan of rulers, big fan of vanishing points. In interjecting them into the creative process right at this point. Now that I'm past the Ben Dunn pages on the Ninja High School Cerebus crossover, it's okay. Now I'm drawing everything on my own, and it's okay. I'm doing close-ups of 3 gems, 3 jewels on this page, and it's like, okay, I'm going to rough them in, and I'm going to rough in the reflections on them. But very early in that process, I'm getting a ruler and I'm getting a fresh 102 pen nib, and I'm dipping it in the ink, and I'm going, here's where the straight lines go on the gem. If you want something to look like a cut gem and you want to do the gleaming on it, your best bet is to start putting that in much earlier in the process. So live and learn, even 40 years after the fact.